Hey everybody, it's GombletX and welcome back to some more Magic Arena. Today I'll be playing this week's Midweek Magic Event. These are the weekly events every Tuesday and Wednesday where we can play for free, get a couple rare rewards, and a mystery cosmetic reward. This week's event, as you can see over here, is Omniscience. They'll be providing us a pre-constructed deck to play that has no lands in it. Instead, every card can be cast for free, and we only get a 3-card opening hand. The Omniscience deck is focused on enchantments, so we can assemble shrines, stack sagas, and ensorcel creatures and players with auras. Don't ask me what ensorcel means, I did not write the blurb. So the Omniscience emblem makes it so everything is cast for free, and it gives us the ability to get 1 mana of every color once per turn. That's for activating any abilities that we have, such as casting things from our grave with disturb effects, or just activated abilities on the board, like on a Goshintai or something like that. So here's a quick peek at the deck. Not going to go into detail here because honestly, studying the 130 card singleton deck to try to figure out what the best plays are is going to take a mountain of time and is probably not worth it because, again, it's 130 card singleton and you start with a 3-card hand. You are not going to see all of the cards in the deck, but you can get the gist for what's going on. They put most of the shrines in here, as you can see with Sanctum of All, the old Hondens as well, being nice shrines. So getting a lot of shrines on the board can be pretty powerful in this format. They put as many enchantment tribal things as they could from just all of the sets on Arena. We've got the old Theros Beyond Death enchantment synergy cards like Eutropia in here. The Eldraine enchantment synergy cards like Shambling Suit and Eldraine Brawl's Alayla, Artful Provocateur. And of course we have the brand new Kamigawa Neon Dynasty enchantment tribal stuff like Generous Visitor, Fang of Shigeki, the Goshintais, Kami of Transcendence. So a lot of Kamigawa stuff in here, a lot of Theros, some Eldraine, but a bunch of enchantments in general. So the strongest cards in the deck by far in an Omniscience format are the card draw spells. So cards like Thirst for Meaning is probably just the best card out of literally all of these, unless I miss something that draws more cards. But being able to draw cards in a format where you cast everything for free, and there's no limit on the amount of cards you can cast per turn, is just incredibly, incredibly powerful. So these are the number one things you're going to be looking for in your opening hands when deciding your mulligans, and the number one things that you're crossing your fingers and hoping to draw at all times. Just get some card draw going on, so you can cast more spells than your opponent, and maybe loop through a bunch of plays in one turn and just make a really massive board state out of nowhere. That's your hopes and dreams for the format. So this is kind of a slow hand. We do have potential card draw with the first Iroan Games here, but what I really like about this hand, and is going to make me keep it, is the fact that we can play the first Iroan Games and then put 3 counters on a Twin Blade Geist and have a 4/4 double striker down. Now we are really, really, really hoping to be able to get the card draw off of the first Iroan Games as well. But if nothing else, we can make a very scary 4/4 double striker turn 2. And we have at least one piece of interaction, this nice Blessed Light for removal. So fingers crossed our opponent doesn't have any card draw in hand either, although they did take a free mulligan. They do have Elspeth Conquers Death that will get rid of the first Iroan Games, unfortunately. So there goes our hopes and dreams of getting a 4/4 double striker down. Sanctum of Stone Fangs, not the scariest shrine ever. This one just drains us for some life. So I'm just going to hold on to Blessed Light. I would much rather kill a shrine that can draw them cards or something than that. And I also don't need to kill Elspeth Conquers Death, because it's not going to do anything. Mode 2, our spells are going to cost 2 more to cast, but we of course have the Omniscience emblem to pay for that. And then mode 3, they return something from their graveyard, but there is nothing in their graveyard. So we're just going to attack in, drop a bounty agent post-combat. And just keep a Blessed Light for whenever they play a threat. We do outrace the Sanctum of Stone Fangs currently. We do 3 damage to them per turn, but they gain 1 life, so we're essentially doing 2 damage to them per turn. They're doing 1 damage to us per turn with the Sanctum. That being said, of course, they've got a ton of other cards in hand here. Still have 3 cards to play around with. Let's see what they want to do. Omen of Dead, that's just going to scry 2 because they've got nothing in grave. Flame of Kel to discard their hand. And they draw 2 cards next turn. Ooh. Now they've got an enchantment in the grave. That doesn't work with Elspeth Conquers Death, does it? No. Return a creature, Planeswalker. Kind of want to just exile the Flame of Kel, to be honest. So they don't draw 2 cards next turn. And I think I'm going to go ahead and actually just do that. Again, just using my removal to counter their card draw. Do it before I go to my turn, because that way we have as much mana up as possible to cast spells during our turn as well, because we do need that 2 mana for each spell we want to cast. Brinecomer is the draw. Not awful, we'll just drop it on the board here. They've got no cards in hand, so don't need to worry about doing things post-combat or anything fancy. Put that out here, attack in. And the Bounty Agent can destroy Sanctums, which is pretty cool. I don't think it's worth destroying the Sanctum of Stonefangs right now, because it's only gaining them 1 life per turn currently. But it's nice to have the Bounty Agent at the ready in the future. They're down to 13. We'll see what they've scried to the top here. Goshintai of Shared Purpose. We're going to blow that up before they go to the end step, so they don't get any 1/1 blockers out of it. Laguna Band Storyteller. That puts an enchantment from grave to top. While we don't have one, we'll still put this out to speed up our clock. Kill our opponent a bit faster. They're down to 9. See if they can draw well here. Looks like a nope. That is a concession, and that will be 1 win out of 3 down on this midweek Magic run. And our random rare is a mythic rare, Lord of the Forsaken from the Dungeons. No, that's not Dungeons & Dragons. That's Innistrad Midnight Hunt. Always get a little mixed up with the 2 symbols. Very cool rare. This card would be super sweet in Omniscience as well. Just a free 6/6 flying trampler. Game 2 here. Not a huge fan of the hand. I'll probably take a free mulligan trying to hit some card draw, because otherwise we're putting a 2/1 flyer and a 4/4 on the board. Neither of these do anything if we don't have any enchantments in our graveyard. So not the wildest start ever. I mean, we do have interaction, we've got removal, and the creatures are moderately sized. Like a 4/4 is kind of beefy, and flying is definitely good in the format, but I'm all about the card draw. This has no card draw. It's basically the same hand. We've got a 4/4 and a 1/1 flyer instead of a 2/1 flyer. And then a little bit of interaction, but this interaction is worse. So the mulligan didn't pan out super well for us, but I feel like it is worth the risk for how good card draw is. As you can see, our opponent gets to scry 2 and draw 1. Incredible card for this format. Getting to do that for free. Because basically, if you have that Omen of the Sea in your hand, because you get to scry 2 and draw 1, that Omen of the Sea basically is just like a wild card in your hand, where it's like, this card in your opening hand, this is just the best card out of your top 3. And you get to scry an extra 2 off of it later as well. Uh-oh. And Enigmatic Incarnation's terrifying in this format. Well, with these pre-constructed decks, I should say, because they're all just a ton of enchantments, so they can sacrifice that Omen, now pull out any 3-mana enchantment here. So pull out some kind of shrine and just start going wild. Or even if they don't want the shrines, they can just take a good 3-mana enchantment. Yeah, this is a terrifying start from our opponent. Sea God Scorn seems absolutely terrible in this format. I don't know what it's doing in here, to be honest. I guess you stop your opponent from attacking you for 1 turn. You can remove the +1/+1 counters from their cards, but being able to bounce things in a format where everything is free is really not good. So say they pull out some kind of good 3-mana enchantment here, all I can do is put all 3 into their hand, and then I guess I've spent the turn to basically fog. Or I haven't spent the turn, I've just spent the card to fog our opponent, make it so we don't take damage that turn, and get rid of 2 +1/+1 counters. I mean, we might as well, because I'm going to dump my whole hand here so I can cast the Flame of Keld without having to discard anything, so we can draw 2 cards next turn. The Fall of Lord Konda to get rid of the Captivating Unicorn. At least they're not getting a +1/+1 counter from Eutropia since they cast that first. Alright, so they'll just get the 2 counters they had before, drop a Drogskull Infantry down, and Enigmatic Incarnation. It's going to pop off here with the Fall of Lord Konda, probably. Yep, sacrifice the Fall of Lord Konda, they get any 4 mana enchantment out of their deck now. Oh, it's an enchantment or creature? Sacrifice an enchantment. Oh, sacrifice an enchantment to grab a creature. Okay, that's kind of weird. So it could still grab shrines because they are enchantment creatures. At least the Goshen ties. But yeah. Oh, that's weirder than I thought. Still really good in this format. So we got a couple runes. That's pretty sick. Gloomshrieker doesn't really do anything for us right now. Yeah, let's just drop some runes to draw some cards. Oh, Generous Visitor. We definitely want to play that first. Give our Flyer Death Touch. We're not really going to want our Generous Visitor to get into combat super often. Get a Goshintai. Because the Flyer has Death Touch already, let's just get some counters on our other cards. I don't think I want to play Gloomshrieker. I think I want to trade off Lantern Bearer and then pick up one of the runes to draw another card in the future. And I don't love just passing turn here, but I don't feel like I have much of an option. Our opponent definitely has better cards to try to take over the game with, just the Enigmatic Incarnation, basically. To keep popping out some big creatures. So Satsuki the Living Lore I think just does stuff with sagas. They can return a saga or enchantment creature they control to its owner's hand, so they can redo good enter the battlefield effects. They can return sagas from their graveyard to their hand. Those are all when she dies, though, so all she does is just put a lore counter on sagas for now. Yeah, not the most wild thing ever. Seems fine. So they're attacking him with Drogskull Infantry because they want to cast an enchantment so they can get a counter with Eutropia and a creature with Alayla. And the Hippocamps because I would have to trade if I block that. But I think I will, because I can cast Lantern Bearer Disturbed from my grave, and I can recast a Rune of Mortality with Gloomshrieker. So we can just get another flying Death Touching blocker. Buff up Alayla. She's got a pretty big target on her back now. Very big target on her back. Sacrifice something to the Enigmatic Incarnation. They go ahead and sacrifice the Drogskull Armaments, which I think is technically mana value 2, because the Drogskull Infantry's mana value 2. So they can pull out a 3 mana creature here. But I could be wrong. We'll see what mana cost they pull out. Pulling out a removal creature here, maybe. They're looking at our creatures. Yep, Reclamation Sage it is. So it was converted mana cost 2, or mana value 2 on the infantry's ability there. Ooh, Modern Age is excellent. But I don't currently have something I'm okay with discarding yet, so I'm going to Gloom Shrieker first. Pick up our... I guess we could pick up the Flame of Keld instead, but I want my instant gratification on my draw spells. Give our... I guess we have to give our Gloom Shrieker the flying if we want a flying Death Toucher, because we don't want to lose Generous Visitor, that's for sure. Brilliant Restoration. Return all artifact enchantment cards from your graveyard to the battlefield. 1, 2, 3, 4. No, just 3. This is a sorcery. Seems pretty good. Modern Age, see if we can draw another enchantment. And then we'll discard it if we do. Heck yes. Now we've got a Baffling End and Brilliant Restoration. Attach Rune of Speed to the Gloom Shrieker, I suppose. Discard our hand. Exile Eutropia probably here. And then we draw the card. We hit the Akroan War. We can gain control of their Layla to control the skies now. Oop, this is Generous Visitor's ability. Counter on Gloom Shrieker so we can attack with our Flying Menace. Take their Layla. It's Flying Menace and Haste, so it goes bam. 1, 2, 3, 4 power, so the 6/6 goes bam. Alright, that was an explosive turn. That was some Omniscience shenanigans there. Brilliant Restoration is ridiculous. But that is what I'm talking about with card draw and card filtering being so powerful in this format. Where the disparity between the good cards and the bad cards in this format are so high. Where you can draw something like Satsuki the Living Lord that's like really medium, or Wavebreak Hippocamp. Or you can draw something like Brilliant Restoration that just goes absolutely wild. Or again, like Sea God Scorn, another card that seems really medium to me. Alright, so the Fall of Lord Konda comes down and they have to exile their own Alayla, it looks like. Yeah, there it is. Their exile. And then they played Battle for Bredegard. That can potentially double all of their tokens later. But hopefully we can just put them into positions where they have to go ahead and chump block with them. Choosing whether or not they want to sacrifice an enchantment here to grab a creature. They can sacrifice Battle for Bredegard or Enigmatic Incarnation. Oh, they sacrificed the Fall of Lord Konda, because they had just gotten that back. Alright, we draw 2, now we draw discard. We draw 2 Hondens here, which is incredible. Cathartic Mana is pretty great. I think we discard the Storyteller. Alright, Gloom Shrieker's super threatening. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They have enough power to kill Generous Visitor. 2, 3, 4. That's only if they block with the Archon. I'm kind of okay losing Generous Visitor at this point. Alright, and they are not going to go for that block. I was going to say, if it gets their Archon of Sun's Grace gone, where they can't get more lifelinking Pegasi, then it's probably worth it. So Cathartic Mana here, do we want to kill Battle for Bredegard? Do we want to kill Enigmatic Incarnation? I don't know yet. I'll wait. It has Flash, so we can cast it later. So I will wait till they're... I love that I can put the +1/+1 counters on one of the Hondens instead of the Ghost Shintai. Anyways, I was going to wait till the end of their turn for Cathar Commando in case they play a better enchantment. Oh no, is Gloom Shrieker gone? It is. Thrashing Brontheton will blow up our Gloom Shrieker. Send in Archon of Sun's Grace to gain some life. The other 2 just to get some damage in, I guess. They don't have any tricks, no cards in hand, so I can just lock the 2/1 with a 4/4 here. Alright, well I guess I missed my opportunity to Incarnation, even if I blow it up right there. I was expecting them to Brontodon sooner, but I guess they're just going to wait till our turn to do it, which is fair. Because I had to put a stop during their second main. In a paper game, you just go like, let me know when you're heading into second main, or passing through second main, or whatever. It's going to give them a 1/1 each end step, that's it. Yeah, we should have done this sooner, but we should still go ahead and just do it here. And there's the Thrashing Brontodon. I'm gonna get rid of the incantation, it's just annoying. The incarnation, not incantation. Oh, was the Akroan War? I think the Akroan War was forcing them to attack with everybody. I'm a big doofus. We have 3 shrines down. We can do 3 damage with this. Kill the Ghost Shintai then, I guess. Ooh, Grafted Identity and our own Archon, and Liliana's Contract to draw 4. Man, I can't speak the English language here. They do get lifelink off of their Archon there, which is pretty great. Alright, they're just going to scoop them up there. Our own Archon of Sun's Grace into a draw 4 spell. Incredibly powerful. Yeah, Liliana's Contract. I didn't realize that was in these decks. That's probably stronger than the draw 3 discard 1 instant. But that card is definitely absolutely nuts in these decks as well. So, our second random rare is going to be Nahiri's Lithoforming, a really weird rare that I've never seen played from Battle for Zendikar. Interesting card. Interesting card. Here we are at game 3 now. Pretty big fan of this hand because of the Commune of Spirits to just draw our best enchantment from our top 4. And if we get a creature, then we can play Rune of Flight and draw a card off of that. So I'm going to keep this one. This hand, because it has Commune with Spirits, it's kind of just the free mulligan already, because we're just going to draw the best card out of our top 4. So if we're mulliganing just to try to dig for some kind of good card draw enchantment, like Liliana's Contract, might as well just keep the hand that has Commune with Spirits, and we're essentially looking at the next 4 cards instead of the next 3 cards. The problem with that is it doesn't pick up any of the powerful sorceries like Brilliant Restoration, if that's what we're trying to pick up. So let's see here. We've got our own Ghost Shintai. Got Euphemia, or Timuret Calls the Dead to go ahead and mill us a bunch. I want a creature for this Rune of Flight. Doesn't make the most sense to throw flying onto a creature that already has flying, so I guess we just take the Ghost Shintai. Seems fine. Although I guess we could have just put Rune of Flight on Satsuki instead. But putting flying on our Trampler that's going to keep getting bigger seems pretty powerful. And I think we might as well cast Arnie Slays the Troll so we can get some +1/+1 counters on something next turn to start buffing our stuff up, although there's Minimus Containment too. Wow. I was going to say, we can Arnie Slays the Troll to get rid of the Alseid so they can't give another creature protection here. So they can't protect Ghost Shintai from our Minimus Containment, and then we can Minimus Containment their Ghost Shintai, and they're down to just the 1 card that's in their hand. And it better be a good one. I guess our board state's not that scary, and as we've seen, there are some big blowout cards in these decks. So the board state can quickly change, but I definitely like our position here. Ghost Shintai of Ancient Wars. Do they technically still have 2 shrines out? Let's see. I don't think so. I think it's just a treasure with no other text. Yep, 1 damage. That's just a treasure token. No text, no card types. Omen of the Dead's fine here. Make a nice big Goshintai of Boundless Vigor. We could actually just use Setsuki to gain the life right now if we want, I suppose. Let's see a big use of that, though. And we'll Omen of the Dead during their end step to scry 2. Even if nothing has died, and then that way, if something dies by the time they pass their turn, we can pick something up with Omen of the Dead's ability. So if they draw into a Wilt to destroy target enchantment, obviously it doesn't help if they can exile an enchantment. So Starfield Mystic, it's a +1/+1 counter whenever an enchantment is put into the graveyard from the battlefield. And Banishing Light does exile the Goshintai. So no luck for the Omen of the Dead here. Alright, we will still scry with it though, to dig to our good stuff. Distracting Guys for Phyrexian Arena. I don't want to take a bunch of damage, but Phyrexian Arena does still seem powerful. It's either put Arena on top or put both on bottom. I think I'm putting Arena on top here. We're only taking 3 a turn, because we're going to get hit by one of these 2/2s plus take 1 from the Goshintai's ability. I guess in hindsight, we could have popped the Arnie Slays the Troll early in case they drew into removal like they did. That would be a net gain of a little bit of life. It would have been a gain of like 2 life or something. Because again, we would have had Setsuki tapped, which means we would have taken 2 extra damage. But instead of gaining 1, we would have gained 5. So it would overall have been more life still. So still worth it. Alright, for Phyrexian Arena, let's get some good stuff. Rune of Speed's a nice one. Rune of Speed is a nice one for sure. And I actually just like making sure I've got a 2/4 blocker here. Yep, this is a bad blocker. The other 2 are good blockers, so we'll send that one in and hold the other 2 up. We can block the first striker with a 2/4 and the non-first striker with a 2/2. As long as we have the defenses to just sit here and keep drawing 2 cards per turn off Phyrexian Arena, we should definitely have the advantage, because we certainly have the card advantage. But again, any draw can really change things in Omniscience. Warbriar Blessing, that can go ahead and finish off our Eutropia here. Choose to kill the Drogskull Infantry, though. Just get some blockers out of the way, try to push in for enough damage to get us to lose to our Phyrexian Arena, I guess. Nope, no attacks still. Just hit us for some damage. Start drawing cards. Reclamation Sage is insane. Blow up the Goshintai. We can pacify the Starfield Mystic and just start attacking with everybody. Stack our auras onto our creatures that are not summoning sick to just get as much damage in now as we can. I'm very likely to take lethal next turn. We do want to make Satsuki a bit bigger than Eutropia so that both of our targets are kind of equally relevant. We definitely don't want to stack all of our auras and counters onto one thing. It looks like either way our opponent draws just some nonsense that does not help out here. And that will be the 3rd win for the random cosmetic reward. I'm hoping for anything except a parallax card style here. The parallax card styles are the 3D looking card styles. I'm just not a big fan of the 3D effect, but I love card sleeves. I love avatars. I love the other card styles like the neon glow styles or the black and white styles from Zendikar, anything like that would be pretty cool. So let's see what we get for our mystery cosmetic. It is, unfortunately, a Parallax card style. You are much more likely to get a Parallax card style than anything else because almost every card has a Parallax card style. So that's always my little kind of lottery ticket at the end of all these midweek Magic events is, will I get something that isn't a Parallax card style? But unfortunately today we do get one. It is the When We Were Young 3D style. And you can really tell on this one the reason that I don't like them. If you look at the very right here, that tree up in the corner is duplicated. And then at the very left, the bridge is duplicated to where it starts curving down. The bush is duplicated. I don't know, that just really bugs me on the edges that they're kind of cloned and just duplicated and flipped. Kind of mirrored is, I guess, the term that I'm looking for, so that they have the extra artwork rather than just expanding the artwork outward more. They've just mirrored it at the edges. So, I don't know. I just, once I see it, I can't unsee it, and then I don't love the style. Plus, I like having my decks all be pretty uniform, and the Parallax card styles really stand out in your hand alongside non-Parallax styles. Anyways, with that whole rant out of the way, that is going to end this event. That is going to end today's video. As always, if you enjoy these videos and you'd like to see more, just stick around on the channel. There will be plenty more. Do these as close to daily as I can, usually at least like 5 times a week. Mostly a bunch of drafts. If you are into draft and sealed, I am certainly very into those formats. You can also check out the Twitch channel in the link in the description below, where I do play on occasion if you want to catch me live. And other than that, as always, thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon for some more Magic Arena.